Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to make a list of things that you gotta stop doing in Trials. You know, I see a lot of people who struggle to win games, to go flawless, to really get any momentum at all in Trials, and it's really easy to blame the outside sources, right? It's really easy to blame the matchmaking system for Trials. It's easy to blame the lack of team balancing mechanics. You can blame the teammates that you get stuck with, this, that, or the other. There's always things external that you can point to and say, well, that's why I lost the game. But the best thing that you can do for yourself is to focus on the things that you can control instead of complaining about the things that you can't. And in this video, I'm going to call attention to about 4 things that will absolutely cost you Trials matches. And you can learn to avoid these things and be a big boon to yourself and to your teammates. Now, real quick, before we dive into that list, I gotta say, people who frequent my streams know this, but when I see a player doing one of these things, because I've been planning this video for a while now, when I see these things happening in real time, I usually save the clip, right? So that I can showcase what not to do, because like I said, I've had this list for a while, but now that I'm making the video, I just decided to delete all of that footage and not use it, because I know for a fact a select few people who watch this video would in fact use it as ammunition to message crap to the players in the footage. And I'm not about to publicly name and shame people on my channel, even for educational purposes. So you'll just have to use your imagination as I describe these situations, and I'm sure that you've experienced them too. All right, let's dive into it. All right, the first one's a big one. The first thing you gotta stop doing, this is super important. Stop trying to solo cap the zone to win the match, okay? Listen. If your teammates are duking it out with the enemy team and you decide to run to the capture point and cap it by yourself, you are basically handing the round to the other team. It takes a very long time to capture the point with one person. If your teammates kill 2 people and then they go down, leaving 1 enemy standing, and you're over on the point, let me tell you what's going to happen. I know this is going to happen because I see it week after week after week. And people from my stream can back me up on this. It's one of the things we rage about the most. Like, stop it. It plays out like this 90% of the time. But you're going to stand on the zone there waiting for that circle to fill up. Meanwhile, the last remaining enemy is going to revive both of his teammates. And then 3 people are going to pounce on you in the zone, which is almost always in a kill box, right? The zone location. And you're just going to be a fish in a barrel. And the round will be lost. And frankly, it'll be your fault. There's no way around it. Had you gone with your team and helped support them, you would have had a much greater chance of winning that round. The name of the game is elimination. The best thing you can do is go get kills. The zone is there to force a fight if there are still people standing by that time. It's not the primary objective. Only go there if you have like a well or a bubble and you know you can put it down for a free round win at the beginning of the round. Otherwise, always go with your team, get the kills. You should almost never solo cap a zone. You gotta trust me on this, guys. I've played over 1,000 Trials matches this season alone. I've seen this scenario play out more times than I can count. So the first thing you gotta stop doing, stop trying to solo cap the zone. Don't do it. All right. The second thing you gotta stop doing in Trials is stop leaving the 2v1 to go get a res. I see this all the time, drives me absolutely crazy. We will kill 2 enemies on the other team, and they will kill 1 of ours. So now we are in a 2v1. This guy wants to revive for sure because he wants to even the odds against us. So all we have to do is stay on the bodies and play the 2v1 because we are stronger with numbers. As long as we stay together and shoot the last guy, he can't out-damage us with half of the firepower that we've got. But so often, I'll have my teammate in the 2v1. He will leave the bodies of our enemies. He will leave me in a 1v1. And my teammate will go to a different part of the map to go revive our dead teammate. And I'm hollering at this point, like, stay, 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 don't you dare leave. And it's like clockwork. The enemy will recognize this, they'll put a barricade down, and now I don't have enough firepower to break that barricade in the amount of time it takes him to get a revive. So he revives his teammate behind the barricade, and then I'm in a 1v2 against overshielded opponents. Obviously, I lose that. I go down. And by the time my teammate who left gets back with the guy that he revived, they are now in a 2v3. So the numbers advantage has swapped. You no longer have numbers and they die and we lose the round. Listen, The revive is not always the play. I know you want to be a good teammate to the guy that died, but focus on being a good teammate for the guy that lived first. You always, 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 in Trials, you play the numbers advantage. It is literally never the right call to leave your teammate when you have the numbers advantage. Anytime you have more people alive than the enemy team, you stay together and you lock down the bodies, period. You play the advantage every single time. Trust me, guys. I've seen it too many times. Chad has seen me crying like a baby, giant tears pouring down my face when it happens, so stop it. All right, now the third thing you gotta stop doing is similar in the sense that it speaks to the numbers game. But you gotta stop friggin' going on these long freaking flanks that take you all the way around the outer edges of the map. Stop it. The radar is OP as heck in Destiny. Everyone can see what you're doing. You're not being sneaky. Go to the main lanes with your team and get that first pick with some primary team fire. That is the best thing you can do. When you go on these long friggin' flanks, you're basically leaving your teammates in a 2v3 for the full duration of your road trip. But TV, I'm a rambling man. You can't keep me down. The open road calls to me. Great! Take a hike then and get out of Trials because that crap doesn't fly here. Play with your teammates. If you're gonna flank, then do quick routes in the middle parts of the map where you disengage for maybe a few seconds before you're back in the fight with a different angle. I played a guy this week in Trials on stream where he was going way out on the edges of Eventide Labs and playing Jade Rabbit. And he picked me from out there on one round and we lost that round. And then I literally said to chat, okay, now that I know that's his game, I'm going to play tight to the cave. I'm going to kill his teammates and he's going to leave them out to dry with no support. And I literally called it. He kept going out there. We kept rocking his teammates and he was almost always the last man standing out on the rocks every round after that. And we swept the rest of the match because he was not there to support his teammates the way that he needed to be. So you may think it's playing smart, you may think it's playing careful, but it's essentially throwing for your teammates and making them carry a lot more weight now that there's only 2 targets for 3 enemies to focus on while you're out in, wherever, Timbuktu, and they can go down really fast now. So don't do it. All right, the fourth thing you gotta stop doing is you gotta stop relying on special ammo for the opening engagement. The absolute best way to secure the first kill in a round is to shoot primary weapons with your teammate for guaranteed big damage to a single target. This happens all the time where my teammate will run to the main lane with me to start the round and I'm like, heck yeah, this guy's about to shoot with me for an easy pick. An enemy peeks the lane and I rip a full headshot burst with a messenger or something like that, or nail a hand cannon shot to the head for big damage up front. And I know this guy's about to go down because I got a teammate right there with me. But instead, I hear a sniper shot ring out in my ear as my teammate right next to me takes a Hail Mary sniper shot that goes wide right for 0 damage. And the enemy walks back into cover and we miss our opportunity. Listen, if you shoot your primary, even just hit the enemy for 1 full shot from your primary, then we get that kill. And we have a body to work with and the numbers advantage. So stop trying to be a hero by aping in with a shotgun or going for that fast opening snipe. Shoot with the primary first alongside your teammate in the same lane at the same time, and you're going to win so many more rounds. I absolutely promise you. Along those same lines, I see people stream in Trials say this and do this all the time where they'll start a round and they will go on some weird angle or some weird route. And then their teammate goes down in the main lane, and the first thing they do is they say, whoa, idiot teammate here just got picked. Stop going there, man. You'll stop dying. Listen, if your teammate is going mid, you go mid with them. Stop leaving them hanging against teamfire while you take a weird angle. And I got to remind myself of that sometimes too. For example, I was playing with Hovey this week, and he goes mid right off the bat, rips an enemy, and goes down to teamfire before he can secure the kills, because he's outnumbered while I went on a flanking route off of the bat and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? He didn't go down because of something he did wrong. He went down because I wasn't there to shoot with him in the obvious lane. All this to say, stop trying to be flashy off the bat. Go to the main lane and team fire with primary weapons for that first pick. Then use special to clean up the stragglers as you collapse on them. And the last thing on my list, the fifth thing, did I say in the intro there's 4 things? If I did, I'm an idiot because this list is 5 things long. It's literally sitting right in front of me, a list of 5 bullet points. I don't know what's happening to my brain. And now that I'm getting older, it's just like, I'm going to check out now and not work properly. But anyways, the last thing on my list, the fifth thing on my list that you got to stop doing is you got to stop friggin' emoting at the end of rounds or just standing there when you get the last kill in a round if there is a teammate nearby waiting on a revive. This is important. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been down to the wire in a Trials match? It's 4-4, and it's the last round, and you're literally seconds away from having your super meter full. But just before it fills up, you get hit with an enemy super, or you get collapsed on just before you get that super cooldown and you lose the game. That's happened to me more times than I care to admit. It's a very common thing, the way that Trials matches are timed out and super cooldown rates work, right? It happens all the time. Well, here's the thing. Oftentimes, you would have gotten your super if at the end of the previous rounds, someone came and revived you and you had an extra 3 seconds at the end of each round to keep cooling down that super and your other abilities. So if you are the guy to get the last kill in a round and there's a teammate close to you, stop dilly-dallying. Run to that teammate, revive them, even if they are only alive for an extra 2 to 3 seconds before the round ends. That's precious time that they can actively cool down their supers and other abilities. Those seconds across those rounds, they add up, and they just might start saving entire matches, which means saving an entire Trials card for you ultimately. So don't just stand there with your ding-a-ling in your hands. Stop reaching for a rip of your cheap vape. Go get the revive. And get that rip when the game's over. Alrighty, that concludes my list of things you gotta stop doing in Trials matches. I hope you found it both entertaining and helpful. And these are things people of all skill levels need to be reminded of too. Like I said, I screw up sometimes in the moment, forget these things as well. So you just got to drill them into your head and make it second nature. And if you can do that, then you're going to start seeing an improvement to your win rate in Trials, I promise you. Thanks so much for tuning into the video. As always, I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, then please feel free to leave a like in the video, as that's the best free way to support the content here on YouTube. And consider subscribing for additional Destiny 2 content. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.